Okay. My top 6 biggest money regrets. The things I wish I never did with money. That's what this video is all about. Number 1, I regret every single penny that I ever borrowed for anything. I really do. So I started borrowing money when I was 15 years old. I borrowed money from my friend Nell for Taco Bell. I probably borrowed like $300 worth of Taco Bell money from her when I was 15 because she had a job, she had money, and I didn't. I was terrible at work. I would like work at a place for 3 weeks and then no show and never show up again and give zero notice. Student loan when I went to college so I could go to University of Colorado at Boulder and live in the dorm on campus for the first year. I borrowed money for that. My mom borrowed money for that. Everybody borrowed money for that. I regret that. Car loan when I was 19. I financed a brand new car that I couldn't afford. I had no money for it. I had like a $295 a month payment or something for, I think it was supposed to be 6 years or 5 years. I paid it off early, but having that payment sucked. Credit cards, immediately started racking up debt in college. Credit card debt, stupid bullshit. I bought Snickers ice cream bars. I bought frozen lasagna meals. I bought all kinds of shit. I like traveled to South Carolina twice to meet some guy I met on the internet twice in one weekend. Didn't work out, flew back again, didn't work out again, flew back. And I put that all on my credit card. I put rent payments on my credit cards. I fucking regret that. Yeah, borrowing money for anything, everything. That's my like number 1 biggest money regret that I wish I had never done. Now, borrowing was kind of the norm in our family, so I was not taught that debt is bad. I didn't learn that debt is bad until my 30s, okay? I knew it, I felt it. I was like, this feels yucky. This doesn't feel right, but I ignored that feeling. I didn't listen. That was my conscience talking to me. I didn't listen to it. My number 2 biggest money regret is not allocating enough to taxes. There's like a dog barking outside. Not allocating enough money to taxes. I started my business in 2006. I was a sole proprietor or what is that? Sole proprietor where you just like basically work as yourself. And then I opened an LLC in 2011. But basically like all that time, I never allocated enough money to taxes. So as a business owner, you're supposed to withhold enough of your own income to pay for taxes. Well, I never did that. So years and years of that just created this ridiculous IRS debt that was like ongoing, and it would like roll into the next year and the next year and the next year. Highly regret not allocating enough money to taxes. My biggest number 3 regret for money is borrowing from my tax savings account. Once I actually created a tax savings account and started allocating money, I would start putting a percentage of everything that I earned into this tax savings account, and it would like grow by thousands of dollars, and I would borrow from that account to pay for other shit that was not taxes. I regret that. Number 4 biggest regret, wasting money on fees and interest. I mean, credit card interest, ugh. Any type of fee where you're paying with a credit card or a debit card instead of paying with your checking account, like ACH, just wasted fees flushed down the toilet. PayPal Instant charges a fee for you to get your money instantly. Like they already charge you like 3% to get your money. So say a client pays you, they already take out 3%. Well, if you want it instantly, it's like another 1% on top of that. I regret all of that wasted money on fees and interest, late fees, overdraft fees, IRS fees, penalties for not paying the IRS on time, not filing on time, all that bullshit. Ugh, hundreds, thousands of dollars in fucking money wasted. Like in one credit card alone, I think I had like $500 a year in interest. That is stupid. Okay. $500 can buy like a huge stash of organic chocolate. It can buy like an amazing coaching program from somebody that you actually admire and respect and want to be like. It can buy, zero water filters. I mean, there's a lot of shit you can buy for $500 as opposed to just flushing it down the fucking toilet. Regret number 5. Now, this one's a little iffy. So I used to spend way too much money on conferences, business events, coaches, seminars, trainings. I used to just like blindly spend thousands of dollars on that. And I would like use it as a bragging point. Like, oh, I just spent this money. You ever see somebody that's like bragging how much they spent on something, like on a business coaching program or a training? Take it with a grain of salt, because I don't know about that, because a lot of that shit I actually regret spending. I think the issue with that is it was a lot of random coaches, random programs. I didn't put a lot of thought into why I was purchasing this, what I wanted to get out of it. And a lot of these coaches were people that I didn't admire or respect, which has now become kind of my guideline. Like I will only hire someone that I actually admire and I like their skill. They have a skill that I lack. That's kind of my guideline now. I won't hire just a random coach. I have to want to be like you for me to hire you now. Or you have to be seriously good at something that I'm not good at, that I need or want help with for me to hire you. So that one is like, I kind of regret it. I regret how I approached it. Now, I love traveling and I got to travel a ton several years ago. I started traveling in like 2013, I don't even know, 2014, 15, 16, 17. I did a lot of traveling and a lot of business traveling. But I would go to these like just random events, like, from people that weren't doing what I wanted to do, weren't the kind of person I wanted to be. I didn't really fully admire them. It was kind of like, why am I here? But I wanted to have that experience. I wanted to go to a different state. I wanted to, stay in a nice hotel. So I liked that. So that part I liked. Did I grow from it? Maybe, maybe not. The things that really grew me the most were like very simple things and very simple habits that actually grew me the most. And like reading a handful of like books that just changed my world and changed my worldview. Not necessarily these conferences or these trainings. I can't really pinpoint like, oh yeah, that training totally changed my life. Even though they were promising, this is a life-changing event. So that's regret number 5. Regret number 6. Is this top 6 biggest regrets? Yeah. Regret number 6 is not saving enough money on several occasions where it would have been so helpful to just have a big stash of money just sitting around that I could have used for some particular purpose. So the thing with saving money, I know that like a lot of people are resistant to it because I was resistant to saving money for the longest time and it was really hard. And I had to change that. The way I changed it is by using allocations and percentages, which I talked about in a previous video on the 4 financial habits that will help you clean up your financial mess. So check that video out if you haven't seen it. But I started using this principle of allocation. So every check that you make every, 2 weeks, when you allocate your money, a percentage of that goes into certain savings accounts. So I actually have 11 different savings and checking accounts, all for various purposes. And this is from Profit First, the book. He recommends like having an account for different purposes. So I have a lot of accounts. I have, I have my personal checking, my business checking. I have a rent savings account. So I had the biggest problem with like paying rent on time, being able to pay it on time and have enough money to pay it on time. So I created a rent savings account where I put literally like 27% of all of my money into that account to make fucking sure that I paid that bill on time. And it worked. I never had a late rent payment again. I have like a Christmas budget because I was like getting sick of not having enough money to buy Christmas gifts for people that I love. I'm like, that's bullshit. Let's create a Christmas savings account. I have like a tax savings account. I have a profit savings account. I have an emergency fund. Oh, what else? I actually have 2 tax savings accounts. One is for the current year. So like right now, that would be 2021. So I put 15% of everything I make into that account for 2021 taxes, and I use that to pay estimated taxes. And then I have another account that is for 2020, and I put like 6% of everything I make into that account. And the total percentage is like I'm putting 21% of everything I make gross, not net, into my 2 tax savings accounts. And the purpose of that is to address these previous regrets, which is not allocating enough money to taxes. So, and then I'm getting to the point where like I'll be able to use that extra 6% to like, use it for a past year that I'm still paying a debt on to the IRS. So I know it's like sounds complicated, but it's actually really simple. So yeah, those are my 6 money regrets. Borrowing money for anything, I regret that highly. Not allocating enough to taxes, borrowing from my tax savings to pay for non-tax stuff, wasting money on fees and interest of any kind, going to too many random business conferences, trainings, coaches, whatever, spending too much money on that, not being intentional with it, and not saving enough money in general. Those are my top biggest 6 money regrets that I wish that I could go back in time and not do any of those. Like, I wish I could change that. Now, obviously you can't go back in time and change the past, but what you can do is you can look at, your current life and you can say, what is my conscience telling me right now? Your conscience speaks to you in the form of, regret. Like if you regret something, that's a sign that you need to stop doing it. So for me, it's like, stop borrowing money. I don't borrow money anymore. I am like disgusted by all debt. Anyone who tries to tell me otherwise, I'm like, you're insane. I will not listen to you. I am never borrowing money again. I don't borrow money anymore. That's a non-negotiable for me. I'm like disgusted by it. And I had to make that switch in my mind to where I just don't borrow money anymore. Now I allocate a certain amount of money to my taxes. So that's addressing the previous regret. That's a form of me cleaning up that mess and fixing that regret and removing it from my life. Allocating money to taxes. Being intentional about which coaches I hire, which programs I sign up for, and kind of taking a break from like just blowing all my money on that. I actually haven't done that in a long time. There's been a handful of people that recently I like hired them or joined their program because I was kind of testing them out, and now I know which people are adding like real value to my life, and so I'm like being more intentional with that. I no longer, I try not to pay anything with a credit card or do any kind of instant transfers. So like if I get paid from someone via PayPal, I'll just do the standard transfer. Like takes 1 business day, big fucking deal. I don't need the money right away. No fees. I try to avoid fees wherever possible. I use ACH to pay for stuff. I use my checking account instead of card. I haven't had a late fee in like years. I don't do late fees anymore. I don't do overdraft fees anymore. I haven't had that. Sorry, Dan is texting me. Yeah, it's just sloppiness to waste all that money on fees, right? It's like fees. No, I don't want fees. And then savings, I allocated the regret, or I addressed the regret of not saving enough money by allocating a percentage of all my checks to different savings. So I have, my profit percentage. I was previously at 3% of all my checks go into my profit savings. I have now bumped that up to 10%. So 10% of everything I make goes into my profit savings account. Boom. At the end of each quarter, I get my bonus check, which is whatever is in my profit account, and I get to decide what I want to do with that. So it's like a nice chunk of money every quarter. It's like my own bonus to myself. And it's cool because I have money sitting in there waiting to be used, and it's so cool. So yeah, what are your top money regrets? What do you wish that you had done or wish that you'd never done? Post it in the comments. I would love to hear your top money regrets. And what are you going to do to stop? Like, is it something is it something you're still doing today? Stop doing it. Start doing the opposite. What is your conscience telling you to do around money? Share that in the comments. All right, this is Michelle Lopez Boggs, author of the Anti-Marketing Manifesto, How to Sell Without Being a Sellout. All this financial stuff is going into my second book, which I'm currently working on. Thank you for watching. I'll see you later.